Hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm starting up first video. It's going to be kind of like a lifestyle type channel, I guess, for lack of a better term right now. I'm just going to take you through a houseplant tour. I really do enjoy planting, gardening, the whole nine. So I've got a bunch of video ideas. It's just I need to, I guess, kind of get an idea what you guys are looking for. I would really love to do a lot of plant-based videos. You know, if you want plant reviews, if I can find the plant, I guess, house it for a while, whatever. Or if you want how to care for specific plants, anything, let me know. Any questions? If I don't already know, I can certainly try to find out for you. Anyhow, I'm just going to get straight into the video because I have a lot of plants to cover. And let's get into it. So starting out, we are in my bedroom. My temporary bedroom, I suppose. We have a Dracaena plant. It's a snake, or not a snake plant, dragon tree. It's in pretty good shape. I just moved this one. And I also just picked it up not too long ago. So we're going to see how it likes the spot. If it starts to look a little I'm probably going to move it back a little closer to the light source. So, Dracaena plant, looking good. We have a wonderful little pink arrowhead plant. I've had really good luck. Arrowhead illusion. Pink illusion arrowhead. I've had really good luck with arrowheads. They seem to do really well in this house. I have a great amount of light. And I can seem to take care of them. So that is that. And this is actually getting super, it's growing super like a weed. It really wasn't doing that much when I got it, but she's popping off. She is growing. Onto a spider plant. Now this isn't just any spider plant. This is off my mother's probably about 30-year-old spider plant. And these were the spider plant babies. Oh, that's nice. Anyhow, these were the babies. I mean, these were babies. Now, these babies, while still on the plant, were growing more babies. These are grandbabies. This little guy right here is a grandbaby that I pulled off of one of the babies as I was planting it. I think that's just absolutely insane, but 3 generations of spider plants all in the same pot. At my mom's house anyways. I got 2 generations, so we're going to keep on moving. Oh, almost forgot. Hey, look, I had to fold my laundry. This is a real life video here, people. No staging, no nothing. This is my gigantic fern. Now, actually, I guess that's a pretty good sized blanket chest. That is a pretty good sized fern. So, I mean, if you look at it in comparison to the rocking chair, I mean, that is a pretty hefty fern. I'm thinking about cutting that one in half and growing her back out, making 2 ferns out of it. I did try to move this fern just today, actually, closer to my palm trees that you're going to see in a minute here. But I hated the corner without the fern. I've gotten pretty accustomed to seeing it there, so I guess the fern stays. It's a time of season where I could just buy another one, but I think I'm just going to cut this guy in half. Divide her up. We have this little setup. There's an experiment here, which would be my spring cactus. I really wanted a Christmas cactus, but I was busy moving when Christmas cactuses were on sale. So I got a spring cactus, and this guy got so dehydrated. I got it on clearance. I dropped it in this little pot from another plant I had. Hopefully I can make it live. It looks a little better than it did yesterday when I bought it. Then we've got this cute little kangaroo paw fern. Look at these leaves. They're so cute. So this is actually relatively new to me as well. I think it's a really cute, crazy looking fern. I think this would make a beautiful fern in a hanging pot. And I actually have a question for you folks. What is this plant called? Now, everywhere I've seen it, it is called beautiful home decor or house plant. I've never gotten like a legit name off it. No matter what store I go to, it's always house plant or like home decor, something stupid. It's a succulent type. I feel like it might be somewhat related to like rubber wax or wandering Jew, but I'm not entirely sure. If you have any idea, I don't care if it's a Latin name or another common name that it might go under, let me know, please. I would be very grateful if I got some information on this plant. Then we're moving on to my Bellis, which is doing pretty well. It's got pretty good foliage on it. It's pretty plain. I like that. I'm getting really more into the plainer types. For the sole fact there's so much going on everywhere else in this house, I'm kind of, the more simple plants. And we're going to get more into simple plants shortly. And these are some of my problem children in the corner. I have moved them in here because the cats are absolutely destroying them. They eat this Majesty Palm off as soon as it starts to grow. Anything they can reach, they're chewing right off, so I try to lock the cats out of this room. Then we have the Ponytail Palm. As soon as new foliage starts shooting out, actually you can probably kind of tell, I've had to cut some of these off because the cats were eating on it as soon as it started to come out of the ground. No error of my own, it's just cats are so hungry. And I don't understand it, but I mean, I put the Ponytail Palm up where they can't reach. There's not much I can do with the Majesty. They're always going to be able to reach it. So we're going to keep moving. I think, now I tried to move the fern over here and it blocked out a lot of the ugly. But then the area where the fern is quite plain. So I really think I would like a fern there. It would really help the case. This is my dog Chuck. Chuck's a good girl. Chuck doesn't bother my plants. Right, Chuck? And then we have Mika over here. She's a naughty girl. She eats plants. So there's a couple I like to pick on. That cute little devil dog. All right, sorry if you're getting a little dizzy, but I cannot round up possibly all of my plants and bring them into one room. That would just be quite crazy. Here's a little project I got going on. I'm actually seeing if I can root a rubber wax plant just off leaf cuttings alone. So I figured I'd give that a shot. I'm keeping it out of direct sunlight. It's got very filtered light. It looks really bright right now, but it's actually really quite dim in here. So I'm trying that. It's a little trial and error thing. I mean, I guess I could let you know how it goes, but we'll see. Here, and I was torn between doing this video at night or during the day, but I decided to go during the day because I love my prayer plants. This one started out as a tiny little monster. Now it is quite a bit larger of a monster. It is in I believe, a gallon-sized crock. It's just in a pot inside of it. But it does well. I can't believe how much it's grown, and it just continues to grow. But I wanted to kind of show you what it looked like all opened up and everything for the afternoon. And up here we have, I believe this is called String of Hearts. But it's a non-variegated, and every time I look up String of Hearts, this came without a tag. every time I look up string of hearts, everything seems to be variegated, like red and white, or it's like purple on one side, green on the other. I don't know. It's a succulent type. That's all I know. And it's really pretty, so that is that. And we have this wonderful little ivy plant. Not much to say. I love my ivy. I'm the ivy queen. And moving on, we have, I believe this is a, I can't remember. Is this a pothos or a philodendron? Well, I don't know. There's no tag in it. I get confused. Either way, it's a growing vine. It's a house weed, and I love them. So, relatively young, relatively dusty. I should probably get cleaning them. I have my Florida Beauty over here and 3 varieties of ivy growing in some hanging baskets. Here's my princess, the old lady, the palm tree killer. Yeah. All right, now we have my rubber wax plant, another dragon tree, and a red or pink variety of prayer plant. Have a wonderful little, it's like a fancy fern. What is this called again? This is just kind of just sat here, lived, and has done pretty wonderfully. It was in pretty rough shape. It doesn't take much to dry out a fern. Green fantasy fern. Medium light. It's in one of the, oh, I made a mess, brightest windows I have, but more in a corner. So it does really well. It does not hate me. I have a decorative croton plant. This is where I put it, so this is where it lives now. Puka, stop. Here we go again. Killing my Dracaena marginata. Cats love it. Here I have my bicolor Chefferilla plant. This was super tiny when I got it. Starting to put on some size. I did put it in a larger pot. Now onto my Wandering Jew. I just picked this up today. I have been looking for a Wandering Jew. Puka, stop, please. I finally got one. I found one. It was the only one that I saw in 4 or 5 stores. I'm also looking for a Monstera plant. I just went out in search for a couple of specific plants, and I happen to have found one. I have a little ivy plant here, which grows like a weed. I actually cut probably 2 feet off of this plant, and it came in a little 4-inch pot this spring. So it's only been a couple months. It grew a couple feet. Insane. Here is my Puka. Here is my green Illusion arrowhead plant. This was smaller than the pink one when I got it, and it is just doing phenomenally. Here I have my teddy bear plant, doing really well. It's soft. It's alive. Then here is one of my older plants. This is my starling ivy. This is probably, I'd probably place it at about 2.5 years old. This plant, even in the low light scenario, never wavered. It just kept growing. It did not grow this well. It was not this thick. There were not this many leaves on it, but it did grow and it didn't look that bad. So this plant does well in even a lower light situation. If I have never trimmed this plant, this would probably be about touching the floor at 4 feet in the air. I have always, however, frequently trimmed it because it sat directly on my kitchen counter. So it really could only get, so long. So now I have a little more space to let it grow out, and that is what I'm doing. Got this beast here. This is my fall Soralia. It does really well. It likes where it's at. I have not moved this since I bought it. It has probably grown 8 to 10 inches. And it's kind of crazy. It is super messy. That big fern is super messy. I always have dead leaves on the floor, but it never gets thin. So pushing out new growth every day. Which obviously a very, very happy plant. Now we have my regular Shefrilla. Everybody's grandma has one, had one, has probably given you one. I have one. I love it. It's a great plant. It got a little frozen in some places this winter. It was a little close to the window. It's making a pretty good comeback. Here I have my Silver Pathos. It's doing very well. It's super soft and satiny. Half of this plant is probably about 2.5 years old, and half of it I got 6 months ago. I had about a 2.5 foot section, 2.5 foot trails coming off this plant with sparse leaves, and it was very sickly. It just was not getting enough light. I now have it sitting in more light. It started growing like wildfire, but it was such a sparse plant. I put another pot of yellow ripple ivy in with it to fill it out. And it is doing so good. I really do love the look of this plant, and this is the old part of it. But it had never had this many leaves before, let alone trails coming off the trails. So she's quite healthy. Here's one of my other problem children. It's another type of Dracaena. The cats just chew on it in passing, and I have no idea why. But I've come to accept the fact that this plant will always look like crap. It is what it is. And before I forget, I almost forgot, this is my oldest plant. This plant my mother had. Actually, this is half of the plant my mother has. At about 10 years old, we cut the entire ivy plant in half. It was a 1.5 gallon pot, solid root ball. Like, this thing had amassed a root system. And those of you who know ivy, in comparison to the size of the plant, roots are almost nothing. We could hardly wash dirt out of the root ball. It was very root bound, and it just loved it. It just loved being root bound, and I can't understand that. This plant came very, very, very close to death. It was once upon a time, and probably around December, bald on top all the way around the pot. It's since been repotted because I wanted a hanging pot on it. This plant was 3.5, 4 feet long when I got it, and I had trimmed it up. And now it's starting to come back. There was not enough of this plant left to really fill out and drape over all sides. Now it's actually filling out pretty gosh darn good. I've trimmed it off, and it's grown inches since I trimmed it off in I think I trimmed it off in March. It just grows and grows, and now it's finally got a light situation it is happy with. And up there we have another little ivy plant. Not much to say. It's going to make more ivy plants someday. And then we have, I don't know if I introduced you to my Florida Beauty and all 3 of my other ivy plants in this room, but obviously I love my ivy. I just trimmed this guy because it was absolutely going nuts, and I felt like it needed to be cut back. It's a little sparse on top, so. But my ivy plants, and we're going to keep moving. Here we have I believe this is a pothos. I think the one in the living room is a philodendron. I think this one's a pothos. This was a really sad clearance find I got. It has taken off since I got it. I cut a lot of stuff out of it. You could see all the soil in here. It was bald on top. I have propagated, filled in. I trimmed off all the bad looking leaves. It was still in good shape, but it got really beat up. So now she's doing great. She loves this dining room. Just loves it. So I'm going to keep it right there. This is the plant that I have killed one house plant in the last, since ever. I killed one house plant, and that was a false Aurelia. I put it in my window, and it was kind of disguised with bigger pots, and I didn't water it. So, and it was just a tiny little cutting from my false Aurelia. I didn't water it. I killed it. Felt pretty bad. But this, I came dangerously close to killing. This was a big philodendron when I got it. All right. This thing was down to what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 leaves. Like these old crappy leaves. These were the only leaves it had left when I came here. Now it's starting to make a comeback. I mean, it's got some bright new foliage. It had some leaves that it pushed out shortly after I moved. But she's making a little bit of a comeback, so we'll give it a little bit of a while and hope to God that it just keeps growing like this, because then I will be in the money. And on my quest for my Christmas cactus, I bought that sick one, and then I found yesterday, I found this healthy one. I paid like $12 for it. Normally, I don't buy in bloom, but I made an exception because I'm not waiting till Christmas to get a freaking cactus that it's going to be the same. I want a big Christmas cactus. I guess I'll have to settle with spring cactus. It can bloom for my birthday. There we go. I just like the way the foliage looks. I don't really necessarily care about the blossoms. I don't. I'm a really big foliage person, so and that's where that's at. I have my, what is it called? Is it called Silver Jade? Pearls and Jade Pathos. This was pretty damaged. It was the only one that they had. I picked it up because I like the leaves. And then, of course, I got my Hoya rope. I actually just picked this one up today. I didn't even know I was looking for it. Like, I was looking for it, but I was not out with that in mind this morning. So I just dropped it in a little green pot, and it looks nicer than the pot that it came in. Moving on, this is my grow station right now. I have a few propagation projects going on, if that wasn't, excuse me, very, very obvious at this point. Here's a little annual plant. I just got this from a friend of mine for my birthday. Here is some propagated ivy in these 3 containers. Here's the 2.5 foot long piece of ivy that I cut off that ivy plant in my living room window. It goes from the bottom of this bottle all the way up there. Still producing new leaves. It's got roots growing, and it's doing phenomenal. And then here I have some snake plant cuttings. Some philodendron or pothos, and I really don't care. I know one's heart shape. I can never remember. It's a weed plant. It's like a weed type in your house, and it looks beautiful. I have always just referred to these vining types like this with the big leaves as Jumanji plants, and they look great. Here I have a bunch of succulent types, the Wandering Jew, the rubber tree, the teddy bear plant. I took some cuttings off each one. I'm going to start another pot of each. anything that may get busted off, we'll just keep rooting and filling in, I guess. Oh, and then I'm also propagating some prayer cuttings. I figure take 3 cuttings. That'll make a decent sized starter plant. Hi, Princess. Oh, she's just such a lover. And we're gonna head up to the final plants in the house. Now, this is an area that I am just getting underway, but kind of holding off on. I have a lot of work to do in the stairwell and hallway. So I just have like some plants that I've found that I know I want in here. They're not going to be able to stay while I'm obviously renovating. I'll have to find places for them. Here's my dumb cane. Yes, I know they are poisonous. No, my pets do not bother it. So it's got a nice leaf coming out of the center here. I was thinking about taking the suckers off of it and propagating those, but I guess I really don't want to screw around with it too much. I'll think about it. And here is something I picked up today. I picked up this Dracaena tree for $5. It had a couple leaves that have been damaged, underwatered, or damaged. The damage is toward the outside of more toward the outside of the leaves. I cut a couple, there was a couple yellow leaves on it. But I said, you know, for $5, this isn't beyond repair. I might just cut it down and start new plants out of it. Sell them. Something. I don't know. Could just, you know. I've been thinking about it, but I think I'll just leave it the way it is for now. And then to the bathroom. I have a wonderful ivy plant. And then I got my mother-in-law's tongue, snake plant, whatever you want to call it. I got quite a few pups coming up. And I didn't take the pups out when... Actually, I've got a really big one. This was the first one to come up. This has been growing in here for a while, and I knew I needed to repot it. Because obviously, if it's sending up pups, it's hit the outside of its pot. Now I increased the pot by another inch, so hopefully I'll get a few more pups out of it. But I think what I'm going to do is take out all the pups, plant them, have a few more snake plants, because these are just, they're really nice to just stick in a corner somewhere, and they grow so nice. They're so easy, and I really like these plants. And I have my big old spider plant. Now the overall goal is to use my built-in cabinetry to sport some plants up here. I had to build some, gotta put some boards in there, make it more like shelves, maybe do a tiered effect. But right now I've got my giant spider plant hanging from it. And it's doing well. These plants seem to kind of like the bathroom, so I'm rolling with it. You can't kill a spider plant, so I mean, we know that one ain't picky. Anyhow, that was it for my plant tour. I hope y'all enjoyed. The princess, did you have fun showing them around? You were kind of around the whole time. So, yeah, I guess if you enjoyed it, let me know. Subscribe. I think maybe I'll do a video of me taking out my mother-in-law's tongue pups and planting those. If you're interested in that, let me know down below. Thank you to anybody who stuck through to the end. And oh, sorry, I just ripped the carpet out of here, but look at these beautiful floors. Oh, this is gonna make such a beautiful jungle area. This is gonna be full of plants. There's enough light that I can cram so many plants, and a railing covered in philodendron and pothos and anything that hangs and trails, and oh boy, it needs a new railing, obviously. Oh, my cat just jumped up onto me. And wow, okay. All right, well, I'm going to get rocking and rolling now that I have been cactied in the midsection. She's kind of a needy girl. So I guess if you enjoyed it and you want to do some plant projects with me, just let me know. All right, thanks.